This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. I've been using Anchor as my podcast host for a while now, and it's been a pleasure to use. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part, and you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From High Country News, the most destructive forest pest in North America is now in Oregon. The emerald ash borer, an invasive beetle that some experts have called the most destructive forest pest in North America, has been discovered in Oregon. This beetle in this part of the country is raising all sorts of ecological and environmental alarm bells, as no surefire way to slow or eradicate them has been worked out, and nearly every tree they infect by boring into it dies within 2 to 4 years, threatening entire forests, and Oregon is full of vulnerable forests, but also species that rely upon those trees, including fish that require shade from nearby tree canopies to survive. Locals are being encouraged not to transport firewood from place to place, to avoid spreading the beetle across more territory, and to report any credible sightings to officials. From Reuters, Twitter and Musk head to October trial over $44 billion deal. An unusual lawsuit filed by social media company Twitter against Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk will be allowed to move forward at a fairly rapid pace, with court proceedings in Delaware beginning in October, as the company requested, despite Musk's request that it be pushed back till February. This is a weird and somewhat convoluted story, but in essence, Musk said he wanted to buy Twitter and change a bunch of things. Twitter said it wouldn't like that. Musk offered a good deal of money, about $44 billion for the company, which was a bit more than it was worth on the open market. And the company said, okay, that's pretty good, and some paperwork was signed to formalize the takeover. Musk then started criticizing the company and saying they wouldn't give him enough information about bots on the network, despite waiving his right to investigate things like that when he signed the aforementioned contract. And that paralleled a collapse in the company's market price, which made his $44 billion offer seem exorbitant. Many analysts believe he was experiencing buyer's remorse and either hoped to get the price on the sale lowered by playing hardball, or simply wanted out of a purchase that no longer seemed like a good buy. Twitter is now suing Musk to force him to buy the company for the price they agreed upon, and Musk will try to convince the court he shouldn't have to. And from the Wall Street Journal, Amazon's Ring gave surveillance footage to authorities 11 times this year without user consent. Amazon's sub-brand Ring, which sells, among other things, smart doorbell systems with video cameras built into them, has provided law enforcement agencies with footage from those cameras 11 times in 2022 so far, without a warrant from those agencies or consent from the users who own the doorbells that shot the footage. There's been a significant amount of concern that Amazon might tap the surveillance camera feeds on these devices for their own purposes, and/or law enforcement or intelligence agencies might get their hands on the footage and use it to violate the privacy and rights of users and random passers-by. Ring has previously pledged that they would only give such footage to authorities if they received real-deal search warrants or subpoenas, which would legally force them to hand over requested video clips. But Amazon has since built out relationships with local law enforcement and fire departments, allowing those agencies to directly message folks with Ring doorbells installed when they're looking for footage related to a crime. And these 11 instances in which they provided footage without warrants were reportedly, according to the company, provided in response to an emergency request, ostensibly to help with some kind of imminent danger situation, like a kidnapping or murder case. But no details on the cases or the applicable laws Ring has said requires they honor such requests have been cited. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.